Now this is a continuance on the intermittent fasting video that I put up yesterday, part one. I wanted to go a little bit more in depth as to what my intermittent schedule looks like. Now, to explain intermittent fasting, I'm not going to go into the micronutrients, and there's a lot of people on YouTube which will tell you about intermittent fasting, and they're sort of experts in those areas. I'm not an expert. I'm just telling you what I've done and what works for me. Of course, everybody's different. I use what's called a circadian fasting. Intermittent fasting. And what that basically means is the hours that you're awake, that should be your eating window. Not all those hours, but while you're awake, part of it's your eating window. And the times where you're just getting up and you're just getting ready to go to the bed, those would be your fasting times. So to give you an example, there's 3 different types of fasting times that I have tried. So you take a 24-hour period, and these are pretty easy. I tried what's called a 16-8 initially. That means I fast 16 hours, and most of those are done during the early evening and early morning, through the evening and through the morning hours. So let's say, for instance, if I did what's called a 16-8, I would stop my fasting about 8 o'clock at night, and then I wouldn't eat until 12 o'clock the next day. That's a 16-8. And then I changed to, once my body got adapted to that, I went to an 18-6, which means 18 hours of fasting and 6 hours as far as my eating window. Now, when I explain eating window, it doesn't mean you're eating all that time. It just means that in that time frame, that's where you're allowed to eat. Whether you eat once or twice or whatever it might be, that's all up to you. And then there's I do a 20-hour fast. It's a 20 and a 4-hour window for eating. So I would start my fast, let's say 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I wouldn't eat until 12 o'clock the next day. I like to keep the range between 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. Now, the reason why some of those times vary, and I like to stick to a particular time, is because I own a business, so I don't know when I'll be available to eat next. So I try to stay within at least between 12 o'clock as when I don't eat before 12 o'clock, and I try not to eat anything after 6 o'clock. So therefore, most of my fasting time is during mainly my downtime, my sleep time, and then of course the early morning hours where I actually don't eat breakfast. That seems to be the best for me. Therefore, you're not doing all these hunger cravings while you're sleeping. You don't get them just before you go to bed, and 9 times out of 10, most people get up, they don't feel, outside of a cup of coffee, they typically don't eat anything until later on in the morning anyway. Therefore, it makes it very easy. Now, as I said, I've settled on, right now, the 18-6. So again, 18 hours of fasting from 6 o'clock at night until 12 o'clock in the afternoon the next day. And that seems to work well for me. I don't have any issues. Sometimes I may go over that time because I'm busy. I just don't have, I just have the availability. So it might turn into a 19-hour fast. It might turn into a 20-hour fast. And sometimes I'll even do a 24-hour fast. I try to do that like maybe once a week. And then once a month I'll do a 48-hour just to do it. And it seems to work out well for me. I don't get the hunger cravings. Now, keep in mind, too, that it's going to take a while you're on the fast. When you first start the fast, it's going to take a while for you to adjust because your body's used to eating at a certain time. You got hunger hormones popping up because you're used to eating at a certain time. You're used to eating certain types of foods. Another thing about the fasting is, what do you eat when you break your fast? Now, I do have a video on my channel which talks about a protein shake that I make. So go ahead and tune into that. It tells you the type of protein shake that I take. It tells you why I choose the types of foods in the protein shake that I choose. That's used for me. It's when I break my fast, because typically what I'll do is I'll do a workout before I break my fast, and what that does, that just enhances the ketone production. So I get my ketones from the fasting, and then my last 2 or 3 hours of the fast, I'll do my exercise. So that even supercharges it even more. And then I'll have a protein shake that'll break my fast. And then about an hour or two later, maybe about an hour or two later, I'll go and have a meal. Now, the important thing about what you eat after that has to deal with, try to stay away from the processed foods. Try to stay away from the ones that are high in carbohydrates, that are high in added sugar. Some fruit is good, but there are other fruits that have a high glycemic index. And if you eat those types of foods, it's going to sort of take you back, because you've just spent 18 hours or whatever, how many hours fasting, and all of a sudden you've just replenished all those sugars that you've worked so hard to get rid of. So the lower the glycemic index is on the foods that you eat, the better your fast is going to be, and the more efficient your weight loss is going to be. Of course, coupled with the fasting, the exercise, and thirdly would be the type of diet. Now I'll be expanding on these a little bit more as we go further into my journey. I expect this to take a full year to get down where I want to be. As I said yesterday, I'm bordering about 299, something like that. I'd figure by July, August of next year, maybe a little bit later, that I'll probably be down to about 200, 210, something like that. I'd like you guys to subscribe. Hopefully you'll like it, subscribe, and so you can follow me in the journey, figure out where this goes. Now, this is not for the expert triathlon person, and it's not for the person who's a guru in intermittent fasting or micronutrients. It's for the regular person that doesn't know, that has this extra weight, and they've tried everything and don't know how to get rid of it. I'll also talk about certain exercise routines. They say no pain, no gain, but I'm going to say no pain, because the way I work out the way I do my workouts when I first start is I start at a very minimal exercise routine, and when that becomes ridiculously easy, then I gravitate up more and then more and then more. But I don't go to the next level until the level that I'm on becomes easy. Therefore, you're not stressing your body, and it's easy for you to stick with it. After about 3 weeks, once you start seeing results, 4 weeks, then your normal drive to want to stay with the exercise program or the eating program or the intermittent fasting, once you see results, then you're going to automatically want to continue with it. So no one will have to push you. It won't be a case of willpower. So stick with me on this journey. I've done it once before and I was successful. I said I let myself go for a bit, but now I'm back on it again. I'd like to show you guys exactly the way that I did it. Okay? Thanks for listening, and have a good day.